So once again, humans fucking it up for everything else.
Yeah, if I remember right, it's everything, basically anything on that end of the planet, like New Zealand,
Yeah.
Australia area, just because of its position on the earth and its prevalence of certain food sources, everything was awful then, and
Well,
everything was venomous.
well, the thing is, if you look at like a lot of like the wildlife that exists on islands,
Hmm.
they're specifically adapted to survive on those islands.
It's true.
So like I said, the fact that Australia being as isolated as it is, the wildlife had no choice but to essentially evolve to be hardy.
And it was I don't want to say that it was unpopulated for a long time, but it wasn't populated in the modern sense for a long time. Like tribals have lived there for thousands of years,
Yeah.
even longer, really. But like in retrospect, a lot of the species was like untouched by humanity for a very long time, up until recently.
Like I said, I want to say humans like made landfall in Australia about 50,000 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like a lot of that sounds right. 50,000 years, maybe like 52,000 years at
Yeah.
like the earliest. Um, but like even a lot of modern species in Australia are fascinating, especially like the lizard species, because like I said, everything is either venomous
Yeah.
or excessively what's the word? Bacterialized. I don't think that's actually a word.
I think the bacterial thing has kind of been like with Komodo dragons. Like it's determined that Komodo dragons are actually venomous now.
That's yeah, but a lot of them have like even touching some of these things spells death.
Oh yeah.
So, which we don't have in North America necessarily. Like we do, but not to the same degree.
No.
Ours is mostly like plant life that you have to be careful of
Yeah.
for the most part up here.
I was thinking, yeah, like I said, Australia. You think kangaroos are bad? Your little pouched T Rexes.
Yeah.
Prehistoric Australia had 8 foot tall ones.
With one toe.
Yeah, that's a steaming pile of fuck. No, if I ever did hear it.
I don't trust things that only have one toe.
But again, and going back to space, you know, Ayers Rock in Australia holds a lot of significance as far as like constellations and
Mm-hmm.
because I said it holds like a lot of like as far as like the ancient Aborigines, it holds a lot of like mystical purposes to it.
Yeah. That reminds me of, oh God, what's it called? Oh, it was just flashed in my head. We found like stones. They're cities.
Mm-hmm.
That were recently uncovered in a hill, and some of the stones have like constellation carvings,
Yeah.
and through that we could estimate how old they are. They're insanely old. Gobekli Tepe. That's what it's called.
One second. Again, I apologize. My internet's a little slow. What's it? I'm sorry.
Gobekli Tepe.
Go back. Oh, there's one of the first things that popped up.
I can't 100% remember how to spell it, but I remember that's what it's called.
Yep, I got it right here.
Yes.
I said my first tab about. Here we go. So going back to Ayers Rock, which is also referred to as Uluru in the Aborigines language. Uluru is again. This is all based off Wikipedia, which again I know is not the most best, but as far as like a quick reference, Uluru is a sacred to the. Oh God! Look at all those consonants. So I cannot pronounce this word, but I'm assuming it's part of like the Aboriginal people. It starts PITJANTJATJARA.
Not even gonna try it.
I can't even spell it that fast. But anyway, but yeah, the original it's sacred to the Aboriginal of the area known as Anangu. The area around the formation is home to the abundance of springs, water holes, rock caves, and ancient paintings. Uluru is listed as the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Uluru and Kala Chutu, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, are the two major features of the Uluru Kata Tutu National Park.
That's the interesting thing is like most. I'm gonna use the term ancient peoples
Yeah.
were like obsessed with space.
Oh yeah. Because that's the thing. That's what sucks now. Because case in point,
Mm.
this past year, we experienced the solar eclipse, and then we also experienced the aurora borealis.
In the same year.
And the same, both were spectacles to watch. I remember it happened while we were at work, and I was thankful enough that they let us go outside to see it.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid they were gonna be like, "Oh no, you have to work through it," but we're gonna go see it. I'm like, "No, that's not fair." But to like see both of them happen, where there's just nothing, just sort of, it really makes you just stare up at the sky and just wonder.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was dark.
like pretty much the best way I can describe it was pitch black dark meets sunset as far as like the lighting was concerned.
Yeah. It's. I mean, honestly, any Breaking Benjamin album cover is basically what it looked like. It's super cool. Like I said, I'm glad that we live in the time period we do.
I agree. And like I said, what was cool was like I said, we saw it all happen, and then I remember like, so for me, I grew up in the city, and as a result, we get a lot of light pollution.
Mm.
So you look up at the night sky, and it's literally just you see a star. It's like 1, 2, 3, like constellations. Don't even bother. Like you never see them.
Mm.
But the moment I moved out to the country, I remember vividly looking up at the night sky and seeing stars I'd never even seen before. It's not on the level of, again, traveling to Australia near Ayers Rock
No.
and seeing the Milky Way galaxy. But again, to like really like look up at the sky and just make it realize just how small you are.
Yeah.
Again, it was just kind of like going, wow, like, seriously, smoke a joint for God. I mean,
That's one of the things that I'm really happy about with this new kind of trend in heavy metal where everybody's kind of focusing, not really like exclusively, but there are bands that have whole albums dedicated to just space
oh yeah,
and how crazy it is in the format of heavy metal, because that kind of works with the sheer violence, if you want to use that term, of the actual universe.
yeah.
It's introspectively reflective, which makes it kind of metal. Or it's metal that's meta on its own.
But yeah, the more I think about like Göbekli Tepe, I think it was mentioned in Neil deGrasse Tyson's second Cosmos airing.
Yeah, he does bring that up because it had to have been made by an ancient peoples who were aware of not only the planets but their movements.
Yes.
Because of how specific some of the carvings actually are.
So, like I said, again, off of Wikipedia. So again, I know it's not the best source, but like just for something quick reference, if you want to dive more into it, Göbekli Tepe, which translates to Potbelly Hill in Kurdish, is a Neolithic archaeological site in Upper Mesopotamia in modern-day Turkey. The settlement was inhabited from around 9,500 before Common Era to at least 8,000 years before Common Era. During the pre-pottery Neolithic, it is famous for its large circular structures that contain massive stone pillars, among the world's oldest known megaliths. Many of these pillars are decorated with anthropomorphic details, clothing, and sculpture reliefs of wild animals, providing archaeologists rare insights into prehistoric religion and the particular iconography of the period. The 50-foot high tell is densely covered in ancient domestic structures and other small buildings, quarries, and stone-cut cisterns for the Neolithic, as well as some traces of activity from later periods. So yeah, as soon as you said that, I'm like, why does that sound familiar? But yeah, I think it was mentioned in his his document. Again, if you really want to dive into space, look up the Cosmos. Like I said, there's Carl Sagan's version, but I will guarantee you Neil deGrasse Tyson's 1 and 2 like really like dive into not just space, but just also understanding astrophysics. Like it was determined that how stars give off the amount of ultraviolet radiation, where they lie in the ultraviolet spectrum, determines what kind of the size of the star and how hot it burns. So if it falls on like the red side of the light spectrum, you're looking at a star that's most likely a super red giant, most likely.